So this is a classic example of, as a day trader, you can make money, you can lose money, but you're never happy. I was lonely in this stock, MGNX, from all the way from 2180s when I started seeing it. And at that time on the daily charts, it was around over here. And I was seeing that it's slowly walking up. And that's why I started in small size and adding in even bigger. And once we break out, I was thinking that we're gonna hit this $24 area, and that's where I would take my profit. And I scaled out some but sold the rest of it into 24s because there was a wall on the seller side. And then you can see, after I sold and I went on my break, the stock literally soared to $28. No FOMO here, but I came back during power hour, was thinking that, okay, I can dip buy this for a power hour run, and my stop was just set too tight. So I lost about 40 cents, I think 40 cents or so here. And after getting stopped out, I was looking at a few other charts. The next thing I turned around, the stock is going to 27 and then now $31 after hours. So, you can only, this kind of reminds me of my PayPal scenario from last week, where yes, I made money, but left a lot on the table. And I shouldn't be too hard on myself for this, just because at the end of the day, I followed my plan to sell into 24s, right? I thought we're gonna rally to 24s and pull back and consolidate here for a bigger move, power hour. I didn't think we were gonna squeeze all the way to 28 so fast. So at the end of the day, you can only plan your trade and trade your plan. So overall, it's a good play on this stock, MGNX. So that was a very nice win. Next really big winner on the day is APOP. So this is a stock that I've played many times before on the long side and the short side. So when a stock, literally gaps up from $3 all the way to 580s, I'm more short biased and just planning out my trades using 460s as a key pivot line to trade around with. I'm short biased. You can see I started building a very small position over here pre-market. And after seeing that we failed to push really early on at the open, that's why I scaled in full size short, covered some into here just to pay myself. I wanted to add back into pushes. I slowly added back, and I would say I was kind of nervous around this area. In the perfect scenario, I shouldn't have added here. I should have added up here around the 5s. That would have given me a very nice average. But still, I didn't get faked out because after this rejection, we immediately slammed back down, and that's why I started covering some more. And after this kind of failed rejection, that's why I was thinking we're gonna immediately dump right here like we did on the action here. But as we kept on holding up, it's a low float stock after all. A low float stock is very easy to, I guess, squeeze out the shorts and then dump on the long traders. It's basically what we call working around the core position, adding and then scaling out according to that core size. So I had a very nice add. I can only add back because I had taken some profit protecting myself around the low 40s area. Added the one last add was up here, $5, cover some more, and after the slam, that's where I know it's game over. The volume was also a very key indicator, so I added back more shorts thinking that we're gonna slowly fade down, and we did. Covering into these support levels, $4 level, and then some more around here, 380s over here, and then last piece I didn't want to hold it overnight, so I took the last piece off. So that was a nice all day fade on the stock. Very nice gain on the short side. Another one that's really nice, mRNA. It's a stock that you've seen me play so many times last week, the week before, and today I'm just coming back to do the same thing. I was looking for a red to green move on the stock, and when I missed it so early because I was trading a couple of the stocks, so I missed the move from 60 all the way to 67. That would have been amazing to catch the long side on this. But just because I missed the long side doesn't mean I can't go in short. So I shorted here 66, 70s, thinking that we're gonna maybe have another push to reject the highs and then falling back down. And then you can see once I started in, it starts working. So I want to add into my winners, added some more shorts over here, and then covering into VWAP. Held a tiny position just for the what if, right? Because this has been a stock that I traded, I think on this day, where it literally tanked all the way to red. So, I don't know if we can get that. I'm just leaving tiny size on. And, once we reject VWAP, breaking down, that's where I added back into short position and covering into the flush. And once I see that, I was making higher low technically, so I covered and I actually flipped long and scalped for like only 40 cents or so. So the long side on this wasn't executed as well as the short side. Can't catch everything, right? Same thing as MGNX. Almost forgot about this trade, AMC. So I'm actually long biased on the stock, and that's why the front side on this trade, all of this are long trades. And you can see I long the dips, trying to sell into the pushes toward the $6. But the idea is that I want to see $6 start to hold and for us to have a steady grind up to test the highs. But we keep on rejecting $6. And that's where you see I kind of got, chopped up on the long side on this trade. So it didn't actually make anything on the long side. Yes, I bought the dip and sold into the rips, but I was keeping a core position long around 580s. But once we keep on rejecting $6, that's where I stopped out, and the long side was basically a flat trade. But once we had the news alert of this rumor of AMC Amazon buyout was false, is not actually a real news, that's where the stock started to sell off, and that's where I was hitting the bids to short into this. Because if you think about it, the whole reason we ran up from 5 to 7 is because of this potential deal. But if this deal turns out to be negative or just a rumor and just a fluff, of course the stock is gonna sell off. So that's the idea behind the short here. So slamming the bids to short, covering some, and got a very nice cover into the flush around 490. Tried some reshorts around VWAP reject 560s area, cover some into here, but once we started reclaiming and started grinding up, that's what I covered. The last trade on the short side turned out to be just a scalp. But overall, very nice range and very nice volatility on this name. It's relatively cheap and very liquid. There was no problem getting in and out with any size you want. So definitely overtraded and overstayed on NVAX. This trade actually made money on the short side very early on, shorted here, covering some, and I didn't get to add, but then I had some nice ads and covering into this flush. If I had just left it alone, then that would have been a very nice winner on the day. But no, I decided to go back both long and short. There's a lot of entries and exits here because there's a lot of different long, short. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I lost all the profit from the morning and then gave it back a lot more. So I'm red on this name. So definitely, kind of frustrated about this. Definitely a lot to learn from. But thankfully, it wasn't like stressful in terms of P&L wise. It was stressful in terms of the execution. I feel like, I keep on going back. It's just like I couldn't leave it alone. So this is something I need to remember and definitely, gonna keep myself in check for the rest of the week. So I'm red on this name. So that's the loser on the day. But fortunately, we had DDOG. This is a very big winner for me on the day because, in terms of execution wise, you can see it's a lot cleaner. Like I let it ride out a lot more. And, in terms of point wise, I made like 3-4 points to the upside. Instead of on NVAX, there was a lot of ranges of like 50 cents, 75 cents. This was definitely a more stressless trade. I wish I had sold up here at $70. I don't know. I kind of outstayed too on the final piece. But, I had some very nice entries, as you can see. 62.80s and added right here around 63s. Sold some here, sold some more, added back. Always, working around the core and taking profit on the way up, but always holding a final piece for the big move to go to $70. And I didn't get to sell at 70, and that's why I sold at the end of the day before the market sell off around 68.80s. Very happy with this trade. Like I said, it's a lot more stress-free and more straightforward than NVAX. The next nice little winner on the day is Grubhub. So there was a reporting of Uber approaching Grubhub about a potential buyout. So obviously that's positive for Grubhub. We actually got halted twice, once over here and once over here, and I went in short just off the volatility, right? I'm not saying the buyout can't happen. I'm just saying in terms of short-term day trading, which is what we're doing right here, there's a trade here on the short side. Shorted here, shorted some more, covered some to pay myself, covered more into this. We actually got halted down, and I covered into the unhold and had a few more ads right here and covered into this flush, and then I just left it alone. So this is also a very nice winner on the day. So overall, I'm green on the day, but in terms of the amount of stress I had burned and all the mental capital I traded NVAX, today was not worth it. If I had just focused on Grubhub and DDOG, these two stocks, I would have been up very nicely without any stress on the day. Instead of going back and forth, fighting NVAX and, just stressing me out, and I'm tired at the end of the day, and now I just want to go take a nap. Well, not really a nap. It's like 11:40. Lesson learned. So whether you make money or lose money, green or red on the day, there's always something to learn every single day from the market. So definitely gonna keep this lesson in mind for tomorrow. So very clean trading today compared to yesterday, which was extremely stressful. Today's everything's pretty straightforward. DDOG, this is a stock that I played yesterday, so I'm just coming in for the continuation, right? Yesterday we were long here, and I added and then sold into the push. Today the stock actually opened with a gap down, and we were looking for a red to green move for a continuation to the upside. This stock that I didn't trade as well at today, I didn't catch the first major move from $17 all the way to $21 because I was waiting for a pullback. I didn't want to chase, and we didn't get that until later on. And you can see I had two entries. The first entry, I was thinking this could be the basing for us to go up higher, and I was wrong, so I had to cut my loss really quickly. And the second entry right here around 1950s, that's where I started in long, and I sold some, and once we rejected VWAP again, I stopped out. And you can see I stopped out too early as we started holding, grinding up, and then going, making new highs, and now we might gap up tomorrow. So this is a time ended up being a small winner, but I wish I had caught it sooner or executed with a patience a lot better on this trade. But at the end of the day, I can't catch everything, right? The other trade that I had so much trouble with all the headaches yesterday was NVAX, but today it was actually really clean for me. Yesterday, I was long and short. I got chopped up, made money here, and I lost everything back. Ended the trade red yesterday, but today I came back with a lot cleaner executions. I was actually long on the front side here. But when, it was a little bit choppy on the breakout, so I stopped out, didn't make anything on the long side, and this is where I started going in short after seeing that we're rolling over with the market and the stock, you can see we're making lower highs. So that's where I started in scaling in short. And I started in some here and here, just very small, just dabbling in. I don't want to get too big too fast. I don't want to make the same mistake I did yesterday, and where take all the losses I take end up giving back my profits on the stock. Small loser on this after I cut it, and after seeing that we immediately rejected again, and this time with a lot higher selling volume, that's where I started in short again. And shorted here 40 50s and added once we break down red to green. So we're technically red on the day, so I was covering into the flush. I didn't want to outstay my welcome like I did yesterday, where I turned some of the winners into losers because I was overly patient. I still had the final piece. I added back, thinking that we might get, even more downside. But when we start holding and, not going any further downwards, that's why I covered everything. So ended up being a nice trade on the short side today, and so much cleaner. And I like it when there's immediate follow through. I didn't catch the bottom, but, I caught the meat of the move from $40 all the way down to about 38.20s. So that's a pretty good trade in my book. Another similar trade on the day is MRNA. So this stock, you can see some correlation between this stock and NVAX. They kind of trade pretty similar. There's a lot of follow through on either directions once they pick a direction, right? So this is, actually an unexpected winner on the day. Extremely low float stock. I had some random news, nothing new, nothing important. And you can see this kind of volume, right? So there's definitely some manipulation going on in this kind of small cap, low float. The stock actually halted once and twice, and I shorted up here around $12, and then once we start immediately unhalted downwards, that's how I covered on the unhold and then added into the pushes to reshort, cover, and add it in, covered and out of everything once we started slowly curling up. And once I covered, it literally dumps. So just the name of the game, right? You can't catch everything. You can only, try your best to, take the most meat you can out of the stock. But seriously though, like two more points to the downside. I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm not gonna lie. So a pretty wild day with a lot of overnight gappers, and the leading gappers were APDN and CODX, and I traded them both. I was more short biased on APDN and long biased on CODX. So APDN, the execution in the morning was extremely well. You can see I started in some pre-market and added into full size once we opened, and we were extremely heavy and weak selling off, and all this is good, right? All the ads, all the covers, and I left a tiny piece of a very small size because I'm going on break, and I always set my stop, and I messed up my stop order for the day, so the stop should have been a stop market order to cover my remaining shares. But I said it wrong, stupid mistake, I know, to be a stop sell order. So I shorted actually a little bit more at this price instead of stopping out. So that's why you can see my stop out from the remaining share was supposed to be 1420s, and I actually added into more short. So when I came back, and of course I was extremely frustrated, but thankfully it was just very small size, right? And because, again, I was trying to cover my remaining small size and then instead shorted more of that small size. So I covered and then covered here. So I did give back some profits from the morning. So that was really frustrating. We were going into the end of the day, and I traded some earnings. So end of the day was just scalps only. It was very frustrating, obviously, to make such a stupid mistake. But the only silver lining is that the mistake was only on tiny share size. So I didn't give back too much of the profit on this ticker. But I did trade the earnings at the end of the day, and the earnings of course was terrible. What do you expect from a turd like this? So I made a mistake on APDN, but thankfully CODX actually traded, I think, pretty well on. And to be honest, I made more on the long side than the short side on CODX. Over here, there were mostly long entries. We were selling off from the gap up pre-market and starting in small long here around 27s and adding more 2620s. And the goal was to sell into the morning push, right? So I sold some here, and then once we flush at the market open, that's where I added back to full size around 2550s and selling on the way up here. And then I scalped a few long right here again, and then some short, but mostly in the morning session I traded it long. It was pretty nice. I don't usually like to buy a stock like CODX, but the action was, there was a lot of actions to the upside. And once I came back after break, I see the stock, they were hit with some news. Another short fund saying they're going to short the stock and bearish, which is, not surprising really. And the stock halted down. This is why I went back and scalped a few really small size. Again, it's afternoon. I'm just coming back from my break. And this is after I cut my mistake on APDN too. So I want to be careful. I don't want to be overly confident, and I want to, protect my capital from the morning. Again, I don't want to make the same mistake I did on APDN. Mistakes happen, that's fine, but I don't want to get into that roller coaster of trying to make back every single cent lost from the APDN trade. So traded a few here, small size, just scalps only in the afternoon, longed it here and then shorted a little bit. Once I seen that it's holding and we might retest previous day close, I covered my short here and then I shorted a little bit into those weakness at the end of the day. And I was trying to play some earnings, but didn't get an immediate reaction. So that's why I covered all my shorts into the earnings. And you can see the stock tanked after I covered. The small trade on the day besides the other two was AKER. So this one had some, I think, PR or something midday, and they halted up twice, and I was shorting into the unhold. Shorted some 520s, covered some into the unhold downwards, shorted a little bit more on this pop and covering into it all. So, and didn't want to hold for this grind up, so I was all out at this point. So nothing big here. This is just a tiny little winner to add up on the day. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and the bad jokes. If you want to see more day trading content, make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitter and Instagram for more. If you'd like to trade with me daily and get my free weekend watch list and trading journal, make sure to check out the links below for more resources. Stay green, stay positive, and I'll see you guys next time.